Hello, my darlings! Today, we're going to be diving right back into the SCP universe, my darlings, with the Scarlet King. Now, my darlings, I really don't know a lot about the Scarlet King, except for he's giving me major Sauron vibes with the armor he's got going on. Although he looks like he's got a lot of little ab eyeballs instead of like one giant big batty bulbous one, like Sauron does. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second, my darlings. There's somebody else who's got a lot of eyeballs. Sukuna? He's giving me Sukuna vibes as well? What is up with all these big baddies with all these freaking eyeballs? Maybe it's got to do with the belief in the evil eye or something. Anyway, so my darlings, this is going to be a lot of fun either way, so let's just dive right in.
The SCP Foundation is no stranger to pure evil.
What the heck is
There's
that?
A reptile that wants to end all life.
That's a reptile?
A sadistic old man with his own torture dimension. The personification of death itself.
Hello.
Working beyond a limestone
And goodbye.
prison. But what if there was something even worse out there?
Worse than that?
An environment of chaos and cruelty, existing across multiple realities and dimensions. And what if it was coming for us?
Don't let it come for me,
the
please.
Scarlet King, believed by many to be the ultimate evil behind much of the trouble the Foundation has faced. And some even speculate that fighting him was the reason the Foundation was created in the first place.
Is that
but
dang
what exactly
important?
is the Scarlet King? He's known by many names, almost always including some allusion to the color red.
Well, obviously, the Scarlet King.
Power, Harak, Kaharak, the Red Shah, the Crimson
The
Khan,
Crimson
PTE
Khan.
616 Mendez Ex Machina, the Laha Raja.
No, I like the
and,
Crimson
of
Khan better.
course,
That one sounds so cool.
SCP-001, to name a few. And like many of the Foundation's mysterious enemies, stories about his true nature and origins abound and are often contradictory. According to the official SCP-001 files of Tufto's proposal, symbology of the Scarlet King has existed in multiple cultures throughout history, with the king often depicted the same way, as a huge red demonic figure, often wearing a gold crown or other headdress indicating royalty.
Are we sure that this isn't actually the devil himself or something?
Mythologies, despite existing at different points in history, or them not having the means to communicate with one another. A number of entities at the SCP Foundation is
Can you imagine what his cave drawings must have looked like?
Connected to the Scarlet
Like back in the caveman period?
SCP-2317, a wooden door leading to the realm of a being
Just like a
known
stick
as the
figure, but
Devourer,
red?
who's expected to escape and cause an apocalyptic event in the next 30 years. But really, there's no way of knowing just how many SCPs are directly connected to the Scarlet King. Strangely,
Good God.
the Foundation's official file
Is this guy
on
like
Scarlet
the
King
father
once
of all the
designated his
SCPs?
containment class as Keter, but that has since been downgraded to safe. According to
What
the
do you
file,
mean,
any
safe?
attempt to change this designation is
That
likely
doesn't
to
sound very
lead to
safe to
horrifying
me.
results. It is widely known that the Scarlet King still has considerable influence over a number of groups, individuals, and anomalies in our universe.
Even the
And
Gate
if
Guardian,
ever he
like,
made his
bows
way
of respect
into
to this
our
guy?
universe, it would likely lead to the
No, put it back
irreversible
together!
damage of
Please!
reality
Please put the Earth back
So
together!
then why safe? And why are the O5 Council so adamant that it remain that way?
I don't know, they're crazy?
This mystery is exactly why we're here today. But
I wouldn't call it
to fully
safe.
grasp the true nature of the Scarlet King, we must first understand
Doesn't
the
sound
man
very safe
whose
to me.
life and fate have always been tied to it. Dr. Robert Montauk. If that
Montauk.
name feels oddly familiar
Montauk,
to
that
you,
does sound
it's
familiar.
because of its association with one of the Scarlet King's most recent attempts to enter our reality.
No, I was thinking the Montauk Monster.
SCP-001.
Have you
This
guys ever heard of that?
SCP, often referred to as the Brides of the Scarlet King, was formed of 7 women. 7, by the way, being an extremely significant number for the king, all kidnapped by the most recent in a long line of the king's devoted cults known as the Children of the Scarlet
You let
King.
those ladies
Each
go!
of the 7 unfortunate women were impregnated with anomalous horrors, such as the infamous SCP-682. And every time one of these horrors were birthed, a catastrophe occurred and the mother died. Dr. Montauk was a prominent researcher studying this.
They were impregnated with
Six
evil!
catastrophes had already occurred, Pressure was mounting to figure out a way to prevent the final birth. But as he was working on the issue, Dr. Montauk was struck with a personal tragedy. The mysterious disappearance of his 14-year-old brother Jacob.
Oh
In
no!
his fear and anger, Montauk believed that this must have something to do with the Scarlet King and his disciples. Wanting revenge, Montauk proposed an idea so horrifying that the details were never made public. A
Now I'm really
procedure
curious.
known as 110 Montauk, to be performed on the final bride at regular intervals. However, this wasn't the end of Dr. Montauk's fraught relationship with the Scarlet King. It was just
A little concerned.
the beginning. To give you some perspective on just how dangerous the Scarlet King is, the SCP Foundation and the Global Occult Coalition decided to put aside their differences and form a joint effort to stamp out the children
ultimate
of the
team
Scarlet
up.
King. They were successful in this mission and even managed to capture the children's leader, a mysterious man named Depeche Spivak. Dr. Montauk.
We got you now. Now spill the information. What do you know? Where were you on June 13, 1989?
About the true nature of the children and of the Scarlet King.
Wait, what even happened June 19, 1989?
That the SCP Foundation wanted, though. The suspicion that the Scarlet King or the children had something to do with the loss of his younger brother still lingered just beneath
he's looking
the
rough.
surface.
Dr.
Like a lot of
Montauk
cult
is looking
leaders,
rough.
Depeche was extremely cryptic in his answers to Dr. Montauk's questioning. He'd already heard of the doctor from the reputation of the horrifying Montauk procedure, and was surprised to see him so calm and courteous
not
in
good.
person. A few
That
key
didn't look
facts
good
about
at
the
all.
King and his cult were revealed in the first few rounds of questioning. The children had once worked with the Serpent's Hand before being excommunicated for their allegiance to the king.
Wait, the
And they had
Serpent's
stolen
Hand?
sacred texts from the mystical Wanderer's Library.
I don't
to
know all these
assist in
people
their
yet and all these
rituals.
organizations yet.
Depeche also revealed that the Scarlet King is bound by 3 laws. The law
Oh.
of blood, the law of concrete, and the law of howling.
Ooh,
Dr.
do share.
Montauk, confused and frustrated by
I'm
Depeche's
confused too.
secrecy, had to learn more. He found an old memoir from a former member of the Children of the Scarlet King, Jack Hirsch, who had the ability
Jack
to invade
Hirsch.
the minds of people from the past and experience what they experienced.
Wow.
He recounted a battle between the Scarlet King and his followers, and a group of time-traveling Turkmen warriors from SCP-3838. Hurst saw both sides of the battle. From the perspective of the Children of the Scarlet King, their lord ruled over them from an immense fortress embedded in a volcano.
Oh, he's
From
scary.
the perspective of the Turkmen, the children were starved and beaten peasants, commanded by the king's voice in the roaring howl of the wind. Montauk also found extensive records of summoning rituals performed by various Scarlet King-aligned cults. Interestingly, some of them incorporated the use of carved SCP Foundation symbols. What
Really?
could this mean? Montauk returned again to Depeche, who finally gave him the truth about the law of
Yeah,
blood.
out with it,
This
buddy.
is the law of the Scarlet King.
Give me the
It's
truth.
defined
I can
by
handle it.
poverty, violence, starvation, hate, and most of all, fear.
Oh,
Like the serfs
negative
and the
vibes,
ages,
negative emotions.
Persecuted by and subjected to violence from the nobles. To the children of the Scarlet King, this sense of holy pain and awe is the only way to live. The alternative is the law of concrete, which means the modern age defined by empty safety and false comfort.
I wouldn't call it
Buildings,
empty.
Easy to access food, healthcare, knowledge, technology. This is
Ooh,
everything
give me the
that
burger.
Scarlet King despises.
You can tell I'm
But the
getting a little
mystery
hungry,
only
can't
deepened
you?
as Montauk found files from a former
They're like,
Foundation
oh,
operative
life-threatening,
named
like
Agent
world,
Gibbons.
universe-ending
Montauk
monster,
learned
and
that
I'm
the
just
Scarlet
like,
King
give me the
didn't seem to
burger.
appear until after the Foundation was created. And in fact, it seemed that the greater interest the Foundation took in the Scarlet King, the more powerful he became. How could this
Really?
be? Things were also getting stranger on a personal level for Dr. Montauk. Depeche
You can't
repeatedly
talk
pressed
about
him his
him.
brother's disappearance and the Montauk
Is that what
procedure
it?
during
Is
the
that what the source of his
Little by
power
little,
is? You can't
it
talk
was
about the
beginning
Scarlet
to
King.
take its toll. The questions still plagued him. What was the law of howling? Who or what really is the Scarlet King? How did he come to be? Montauk's search was causing him to act more like the children of the Scarlet King,
Uh-oh.
ranting about the horrors of the modern world.
Uh-oh, you're
All of us
losing
are
yourself,
living
man.
How the only honest way to live is
Smack,
suffering
get a
under
hold of
the
yourself.
dominion of the Scarlet King. This philosophy is summed up in the words of one cultist named Arya Dene Cartwright, who said,
Oh, I thought that was Dr. Montauk for a minute, like 50 years later. Okay, it's not him. We're safe. For now.
With no compassion or compunction from our masters, we must learn what it is to be taken towards a single purpose, to know and truly understand our lack of agency. We must be beholden to the words of gods and darkness, the tempest-tossed refuse of a race of fools. We must kill modernity, postmodernity, with all its analysis and sneering observation. There is only one rule, the rule of chaos, for humanity, for life, for the Scarlet King.
Dude, relax.
Every time humanity tries to exert control over the world, the Scarlet King gets stronger. Every time they try to understand or organize or categorize their world, the Scarlet King gets stronger. As colonial and imperial powers conquered and invaded lands like India, Africa, and South America, and subjugated their beliefs under Western ideas, the Scarlet King grew stronger. Montauk was beginning to truly understand the power of his enemy here. And even worse, he was starting to understand his part in it. Montauk, slowly being driven mad by the knowledge he was gaining,
don't lose yourself.
That the Scarlet King's greatest enemy, the SCP Foundation, was also its greatest asset. Every time they tried to understand the monster, to give him some kind of comprehensible form, they only made him more powerful.
I thought that was the case.
Montauk's new revelation, a red crack appeared in the wall of Depeche Spivak's containment cell. A portal to the realm of the Scarlet King.
Not good.
Staff found they were unable
they sprung him in prison. The Scarlet King sprung his boy.
With Montauk. With no other options, the Foundation relented. In their very last conversation, Depeche congratulated Montauk for finally understanding what he was dealing with. The Scarlet King, Depeche told him, is an idea, a concept. He is a being given power through the conflict between the old and the new. This is the law of the Howling. The Scarlet King's endless rage at the direction the world and humanity has taken. The King, according to Depeche, hated the Foundation's belief that science and rationality was the true path to progress. The King saw this as little more than petty arrogance.
It's magic versus science.
The on the final bride of the Scarlet King was so effective was because it wasn't born out of science. It was born out of hate, pain, the desire for revenge. And in the Scarlet King's realm, that would be all there is. Unless our world, and especially the Foundation, changed its course, the Scarlet King's
makes all the sense in the world.
Power would be inevitable. Montauk, his mind practically gone, asked one last question. Did the children or the Scarlet King take his brother, Jacob? When Depeche told him the answer, no. And in response, Montauk shot him dead, finally bringing an end to the children of the Scarlet
Don't shoot the messenger!
In light of his new revelations, Montauk begged the O5 Council to change their ways in order to avoid letting the Scarlet King break into our reality. They refused, saying Montauk's ideas were too radical. But they knew they couldn't just ignore the threat posed by the Scarlet King. They would have to take some steps. And so the O5 Council of the SCP Foundation, the most powerful and secretive group in the entire world, in order to prevent the most dangerous threat that humanity has ever known from breaking into our reality.
Yep, what did they do?
Enslaving all the people of the world, finally did something. They changed the classification of the Scarlet King from Keter to Safe, and made its description on the official Foundation files deliberately vague. The O5 Council thinks this will be enough to stop the Scarlet King's power from continuing to grow. But Montauk knew it wasn't enough. He had seen the truth, and he couldn't unsee it. While the Foundation was
Garfield!
Montauk grew
Did you see that? That was Garfield!
Coming. He knew that he couldn't be stopped, and that our whole reality was little more than sitting ducks.
No.
Montauk is no longer a researcher for the SCP Foundation. No. Dr. Robert Montauk chose a different path. He is now a child of the Scarlet King, a devotee of madness, hate,
No!
You can't
He
beat the
lost
Scarlet King
himself.
after all. And as the old adage goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
No.
Now go watch SCP-682.
Oh my goodness, my darlings. This was crazy. We have a giant existential universe-ending threat out there called the Scarlet King, and every time you talk about him, he gets stronger? Have you seen how many YouTube videos that people have made about this guy? We are totally cooked. And I hate to say it, my darlings, but the Council's decision on this whole thing was just really dumb. You cannot ignore a problem and expect it to just go wandering off somewhere. The problem will still be there when you turn around. Alright, the Scarlet King is still out there. He's still universe ending. Just because you don't look at him and you don't talk about him doesn't mean he's not slowly growing in power. If what we saw was to be believed, my darlings, the guy feeds off of negativity. He feeds off of misery, my darlings. So, therefore, all you gotta do to get rid of the Scarlet King is to make the world a better place. I mean, originally, my darlings, I really thought this was a fight of science against mysticism, but that's not what this is. This is truly a fight of good against evil. You know, my darlings, this whole thing reminds me of a quote that I remember from a long time ago. It says, "Inside me there are two dogs. One is mean and evil, and the other is good, and they fight each other all the time. When asked which one wins, I answer, the one I feed the most." So, this whole thing about good versus evil, about the Scarlet King getting stronger and stronger, my darlings, he is feeding off the entire world's negativity. All the Council has to do to save the world from the Scarlet King is to make it inedible. To make it distasteful to the Scarlet King, to get rid of misery. I'm talking about murder. I'm talking about starvation. I'm talking about neglected kids. I'm talking about people that are lonely and alone. I'm talking about animals who need help. I'm talking about turn the entire world from tragic to fabulous. Okay, my darlings, they just have to upgrade the vibrational energy levels of this planet. Alright, and make it a better place, and then the Scarlet King will go waltzing off into the ether to go find something else or someone else to torment. But then again, it's a lot of hard work, and we know how people feel about hard work. The Council doesn't want to do the work. They'd rather just ignore it, not talk about it, and hope it just magically goes away. How very human of them. And you know, my darlings, I really, really hate that quote also applies to our Dr. Montauk here. I feel bad for him. He lost the fight. The bad dog won. But then again, my darlings, with everything that happened to him with his brother, you know, tragedy sometimes overtakes you. His sadness overwhelmed him, his faith in the system was shattered, he just couldn't fight anymore. When it comes to Dr. Montauk, the Scarlet King won. But he hasn't gotten the rest of us yet, and I'm hoping to keep it that way. So, the lesson here, my darlings, is to try to make the world a better place. And do good by yourself as well. Don't be too hard on yourself. And also, don't do the stuff you just have to do. Do some stuff that you want to do. And eat chocolate. Speaking of positive things in this world, my darlings, I would love to thank my Patreons. Thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimasu. You're all so wonderful. And I would especially love to give a special shout out to Gorshk and Ray099. Arigatou gozaimasu, my darlings. You really are my superstars. And if you found this video to be positive, my darlings, please like the video and please consider subscribing to the channel. You know, it really helps us out because Madam Algorithm can be kinda picky. And my darlings, never, ever, 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 ever forget. I love you and I'll see you next time. Bye.